So your figures, we go into your figures. Well, figure overall is you need to really pay attention to gross development value. So gross development value is real figure whereby you aggregate or you sum up all the unit for sale. If you are selling 200 units of the let's say parcel or landed house or whatever property so you actually into dollar and cent you calculate out the total amount that is GDV. So this GDV cannot be an estimate amount. You cannot say it's estimated at 1.6 million. Cannot. You have to give 1.654 1,002 ringgit, something like that. So you have to calculate until even to a single dollar, and that is required, and it has to be consistent in the whole write-up for task 2. It cannot be in the earlier, content. You put down there one number, and then at the back you attach a calculated amount, which is a different figure. This happened a lot, in fact, for us, because we have issues like you calculate, then you have to round up, and then you have to actually estimate how much of that is what sort of price difference. You probably have some Bumi discount and things like that. So all these things will upset your total GDV. So make sure your GDV is consistent from the beginning until the end of the whole task 2 write-up. So I put out there no rebate, no discount. This no rebate, no discount thing is commercial rebate and commercial discount. But if you have a Bumi Putra discount, then please put it in, because Bumi Putra discount is required in some states, and that is almost like have to do it's mandatory to do. And if it is not done, then it is not following the local approval for the state that emphasize on protection of the Bumi Putra rights. Average price range and also price per square area. This is quite common. You use it in either the track record, when you do your track record average price range of the property you have sold, or you have already calculated the price per square area, especially in the case of comparative competitor analysis. And if you can, then give the median price and also the minimum and maximum price range for the property that you're going to sell, so that you can understand that the range for your market segment. So our market segment depends on this a lot. So price comparison, I just again summarize. You can use the price list from the competitor. You also can look at the third party transacted price data, which is from Bricks.my or NAPIC figures, and also the third party report. If you have, it would be difficult actually to do a competitor pricing comparison where you hear from your colleagues or hear from people in the market that it is sold, a few units is sold at certain price, because you have to go to the total price list, full price list of your competitor to calculate the equal of your comparison. You need to get the median and you need to get the average price, which is difficult. So most of us, when we pick it up from NAPIC or pick it up from Bricks.my, this figure is actually a subset. In fact, it's not the total population of the units of the launch competitor project. It is actually transacted price of a few of the units in that time frame. And sometimes this time frame comparison also may cause trouble. But I think as we are in task 2, the examiner also know about this scenario. Comparing the pricing, actually, in that sense, they won't drill in too heavily on this part. But at least you have to understand the price comparison tries to achieve the apple-to-apple comparison rather than trying to just simply pick anything to compare. So table layout, as I mentioned earlier on, if you are doing a table to show your track record, or you are doing a table to show your competitor pricing, then it's important to put project name, developer name, where about this project is you are comparing or you are selling or you want to present as your track record. Then you need to put types of property lah. Of course, in the pricing comparison, then definitely you have to be careful lah. Don't compare different product types. Price range, likely this is provided also. If you can take it from third-party database, it is price range given. Status, important to put down your status, because as in track record, you have to say which month, if you can, which month to which month. Of course, this is imaginary, and also the percentage sold by you. How much have you achieved within that period of time? A lot of time when we do track record, we always forget about this status. So always we do just project name, developer, and even types also we just simplify, and then the price range. And a lot of times we did not put down the status of what date to which date, and also how many percent sold. And percentage sold also cannot be putting too optimistic, because the examiner will know that it is not possible. So we just avoid this type of question if in case that examiner want to pick on this issue and question you, and you have to go back and change. Manpower deploy also, if you can, one column on your manpower deploy, and write down, if it is track record, write down what are your plus point, what are your strength in coordinating the project that you have done before. So the developer wants to know your track record in completing of the project sold, but also how you add value, how are you able to add value with these experiences of doing the previous projects. So for example, you can list out the acquired skill by saying that your team of negotiators are very well trained on whether to review the pricing or not. Like say, developer give out pricing, but then you are not supposed to simply disclose this pricing in the social media, or a lot of time developer doesn't want to get into trouble by giving out too much information, and the authority goes after them. So the team of a negotiator who handles project will know that this is some of the some of the areas where certain things sensitive to the authority, they should not be disclosing it. Sensitive information, especially pricing, especially giving of certain benefits, usually in the market a lot of this happens. So your negotiator is well trained to be able to avoid developer getting into trouble. So this can be one of the points that you put down as showing your track record and how it benefits your developer. Okay, next, can you use developer on material? This is a question that I actually find out also from others. Actually, the answer is yes. However, you are not supposed to just put it as developer brochure or developer leaflet. So you have to tell the examiner that you have designed this brochure and this leaflet for the use of your developer. So you borrow from the developer, but you need to change to put your firm's name, your agency name, your rent number, and the negotiator name, or you are selling it yourself, your own name and your E-number. So all that has to be inserted to show that this is how you're going to do the brochure and the leaflet or the flyer for the developer. So it's not entirely like you just take pictures of the developer brochure and then attach it into your appendices, because that you mean that you have not done your work. You have not done enough to show to the examiner that you are complying to MEAS. You are really designing the marketing promotional material for the developer. So think of yourself as a wedding. Let's say you are a wedding planner. So you are doing a wedding for somebody. Then you are supposed to be paid for working on all the decoration for the place, and also print out the wedding invitation card. The name of the card inside there, actually you are the person to design the card. It's not like you just go and get a printer and then simply just use any card that is printer provided to you without changing the person's name inside and your own company, your own firm. So these are effort that the examiners want to see lah. So if you use developer material, do play it carefully, and therefore modify the ready to use material in compliance also to the MAS 6 and also the circular particularly the flyer. All flyers you must include that, even the electronic flyer, to include the clause that the person's responding to. So do you need to vet the project? So this part is varies between examiner to examiner lah. My examiner wanted me to really verify the project, so I had to go and get authority approval. I have to do land search. I have to check how long is the lease term of the land, and eventually when the title is going to come out, then it is how long the term of leasehold land. So this part, some sample task tool that is sharing around, flying around among the PEAs, never had this authority approval part. So if you get to the examiner who wants to see this, then no choice, you have to go back and do. Like myself, I did not prepare for this in the first interview, so I came back and I look for it and attach it in the second reassessment. So I want to just go back to the agency profile. So this part is of course when you go through, as I mentioned earlier, this is the first part, the layout and also about your company and project, So this part, vision, mission and core value, is important. So this is the place where usually the beginning of your task 2 interview, your examiner will go into this part. So this will be the first part that they likely, after they have seen you have done a good job, or the later, all those compliant things that I have told you, this is the part. After that, this will be the part, the vision, the mission, the core value, the organization chart of your firm. Because they want to make sure all registered estate agents know how to market your firm's special niche in that sense. So you need to know how to come up with the vision, the mission and the core value of your firm. I don't want to talk too much on this because sometimes you get confused because you think that mission is the same as vision. So a lot of time, just remember this, vision is the end result that you want to be, and a mission is how you are going to get there. So these are the two important parts. Differentiate yourself, and the core value, usually you are looking at a culture that you want to inculcate among your negotiators. And don't be too simple. So sometimes write a fair bit, maybe one small paragraph or a few points for the core value, a few points for the mission. Let's go to the organization chart. So now organization chart is also a major part that a lot of maybe work, a lot of task to never actually included the organization chart. So they either do it easily, put down there, how many negotiator and who is the lead negotiator, and then that's it they never go and show. So the detail of the organization chart is sometimes what the examiner look for. At least you provide a chart format, not a handwritten few sentences. And if you can, provide photos and the E number of the principal. After that, down below the principal, give the roles of the different leads. So use the PA so use PA as the project lead. The rank and file of the negotiator is higher than the PA. Don't go against the sense that put the PA as the section head, then the negotiators as the general workforce. It will be hard to argue if you say you want to put a few PA as kaki tangan, maybe receptionist is a PA, or a computer, managing the computer one is a PA. Then you have to really defend yourself. Why you want to put a PA in the position. So sometimes these type of things avoid lah, just avoid. So list of names of the PA, put it inside the reference at the back tables inside the reference tables. So this part is interesting to see. Some actually put this because they follow the format, and this some of these formats are flying around, so they actually give the PA names and the tag numbers. But if you have not seen the sample that is circulated or being shared by some of the PAs going for task 2, then you would not know about this requirement. So this requirement to the examiner, it may be important to some examiner, it may not because the PEA as a lead, you have your name written there, and the PA number also is a lot of time imaginary one. Then the list of the names of your staff, list of your negotiator. If you have 100 negotiators, how are you going to put all the 100 negotiators inside a few pages and attach it to the task 2? I think that is not necessary because as we all know, negotiators, even though they are allocated to do the project, sometimes they are also running around doing other personal things. So this is subjective in that sense, but if you are able to just the lead negotiator or the lead PAs. Right, we go to the part on the marketing strategy. So marketing strategy I put under general strategy. So general strategy, this is the part that important, as I mentioned. There are 5 parts, and this is the second one, which is the marketing plan and the marketing strategy. How are you going to propose to the developer how to sell his project? So one is of course the SWOT analysis, and this SWOT analysis is most appropriate to a developer in the sense that it is a simple and straightforward way of looking at a project. Rather, I would not suggest to use what others say PESTO or PES. PES and PESTO is for mega corporation, which has got dealings in probably international trade and all the various horizontal and vertical type of business models. So this is not, this is just one project. You are looking at one project. You are not looking at going to change the internal legal structure of the developer, right? You are not going to be consulted on how the developer is going to run his research and development for his building material, right? You are also not going to be involved in his human resource planning. So I guess PESTO, this type of appraisal for management is appropriate, but not for task 2 So the general strategy for SWOT is just simple, straightforward in a table format, and trying to put it at least about 3-4 points inside the SWOT analysis table, and then after that do give an explanation below it. I made a mistake in the earlier time where I wanted to save the wordings. I only put the table without giving explanation, so the examiner was not convinced much by just the table. So it's important to at least put a table, then do a point form of explanation below it. Next is that the segmentation. Usually we would use the variables like demography, the variable like demography, which should include the income level. So income level should be under demographic segmentation, and then you have the behavioral, you have the psychographic, and also you have also the geographical. So these are the 4. So use the 4 in total. Don't use 1 or 2 and then forget about the other 1 or 2. So some people will just use demographic and then using demographic to do segmentation. So it's just on one part of the segmentation. It is not the complete marketing segmentation. So if that is your case and you prefer to do it that way, then think of the defense that you want when the examiner asks you why you are segmenting only on the demography. So these are things that you have to prepare in case you are asked why is one missing. Next, we talk about the promotional strategy. Pricing strategy, I would say, is quite straightforward, as you have already done your price comparison, competitor price comparison. Now this pricing strategy, it will be just quite simple with a certain price range, or at the low or the high price range with the premium value that you are going in. Then the promotional strategy of going to a target market. How are you going to use a package? How do you attract your target market to come and buy the low-lying fruit idea? So you must think of some packages that you can get buyer immediately. So this is important in the general strategy. Now we go to more detail pricing strategy. So this competitor pricing comparison I have gone through in length, and all the per square feet price, the median price, the car park, the facilities, all this, if you can summarize it in a table, that you are giving a very good reason of the price to the buyer, and what is the value in the price. So this part I don't want to go in too long, because we have talked quite in length on the competitor pricing part just now. So the marketing part, on the third area that I want to talk about is on the promotional activity and the types of placement activity. Are you going to do call agency or not? Are you going to promote overseas or not? All these, if you are not going to, these are lesser important. So if you are not going to, no need to mention. Just mention your major pricing strategy, the pricing package. So are you going in for a conventional press release? Are you only doing digital? Are you going to do TV ads or not? So all these just being point form to highlight that you are separating the promotional strategy as it is, and not just simply group under general marketing strategy. So general marketing strategy and promotional strategy. Promotional strategy is more onto the action and how you're going to do the media promotion. So this is the part that is important. I guess this is the part that a lot of time we never really think about, and we never really do, and in the sense that it's trying to rush through the task 2 without thinking about what is this, what is the innovative way of doing marketing. In that sense, it becomes more of a requirement to do task 2 just to comply with the certain marketing advertising framework. So you are thinking like, okay, I cannot go against MEAS 6. I cannot be doing this and that because it's not allowed by the Housing Development Control Licensing Regulation. But how other methods which can actually help your developer? This part, a lot of time, I guess many of us are not doing, and I guess also that the board examiners also do not expect so much from you here. So just give one or two just give one or two in this aspect, because you may come across one or two examiner that they are sharp enough to look at this. So it's your only idea cannot be copied, because this part you cannot be just like compliance copy from another sample task 2. So this is your own idea. So it's how you're going to do your marketing for the developer. So this part I would say, example I give, ready move-in package. Ready move-in package is not against the HDA rules or regulations. You can actually give ready move-in incentive to your buyers to buy the properties. There's no wrong, because you actually install it beforehand. That means they actually buy the property with the item that is installed inside the unit. So it's not forecasted, it's not misleading. So these are things that you may want to include in, because you can show to your examiner that you have given extra thoughts, extra effort that you put in for marketing. And this part of the marketing is what the developer wants to see. Developer want to see this part. This is the major part that you are there for. Right, marketing action plan. This is the part that I initially included into the marketing section. So this one, if you really think about it, is actually major part of your tactic on the ground. That means what are the things that you're going to do for the developer. Usually there is time factor in. So I put a highlight here on the time to carry out the events. So this is best to show as a Gantt chart or Gantt chart, and the timing. So a lot of the issue is that we make so much of amendment to our task 2 that we forgot about the timing. So you may be pitching, or you may be proposing to the developer in a month of, say for example, January, but then you may only get the project to launch at the month of maybe even June. Only then you get the launch. Then after the launch, what are the things that to do? After that, what are the other things that you need to follow up, and after closing the deals, you need to change for the all the sales and purchase agreement to be signed, and deliver all the legal documents, and to go through all that processes. So from June to August, what are your plans? If you want to do road shows, what will be the time during the festive season to do your roadshow? So all that readiness for the advertisement and the timing is important. So if it is if I am a sharp examiner, I will want to see this, because this is the major effort that I can see how an agency is going to give value to a developer. I am a developer, I will definitely look at this, because this is the major work that you're going to carry out for me in the field to get the buyer to come forward. But majority of the case, I see the sample that is flying around, people are copying each other. These are not there.